Hey there guys, Teacher Paul here, and today we're going to be taking a look at this Lego set 42197. It's a very small Lego set. I think it has just 104 pieces, and we're going to put it together to make this digger with the excavator on the back. Should be very simple. I think I see a worm gear mechanism inside there. So let's take a look at it and see what's inside the box. Looks like we have 2 plastic bags of pieces, some loose beams, our excavator scoop piece, 4 tires, and our tiny instruction booklet as well. Let's get started. We're going to start off here with a simple bracket, and our blue pin connector is going to go through it like that. And take a 3 long axle coming up, and onto that we're going to add the socket joint like so. Now we need 2 of these to be built. So pushing our red axle inside and pushing another red axle inside as well. And now these are going to come down from the ball socket joint like that. We are going to take a top of that. We are going to take, always fun looking for pieces. My black background is not helping here. There we go. One of these angled axle housing things. 5 long axle goes halfway through that and then goes on top of our yellow connector. We can connect our yellow L brackets, one on this side and one on the other side as well. And then 2 black connectors go in to the bottom of our L brackets. Now we take a 7 long bracket, and we're going to slot in 2 of these frictionless pins. So these pins have no friction on them, which allows them to turn easily. Interesting to see how that's used later. I'm going to grab this, and it slots in here. So now this can turn up and down. Then we take our axle extender, put 2 blue pins inside, and slot that into the first slot there. Take a 3 long axle, and we're going to put our 12-tooth double bevel gear on top and push it through a little bit tight. On top of that goes our spinny thingy there, and 2 red axles, 2 long axles in the sides with an axle extender on top. Our 4 long axle wood stopper. I don't know what to call these things. They're kind of like knobbly gears. Our knobbly gear goes on top there, and just a simple bracket on top. And then we can take another axle extender with central hole, and inside of that we're going to put 2 yellow 3 long axles. One goes there, one goes here. So yes, as I expected, I'm going to take the thing we just made and put it on top, and then take one of these to hold these 2 pieces together like that. Well, that's not very good, is it? So let's push that back into place. Nice and tight. All of this is going to connect into this assembly here on this slot. So I can see this is probably where our excavator, the backhoe of the excavator, is going to connect, I think. And this is going to be used possibly to turn a worm gear. We will see. We can put the other frame on here on this side, and that secures everything into place nicely. So far we just have this hand of God turning the knobbly gear at the bottom there. Now let's take a 3-lung axle and put it into our bracket. Yeah. On the side of that, we're going to put a half beam there, and another 3-lung axle goes inside just like that. Onto that, we're going to put one of those things there, and then another half beam will cover those two up rather nicely, pushing them down just to make them even, pushing them on the other side to make them more even. That looks good to me. Now we're going to take our yellow frame piece here like that, and this axle bracket, and slot in our 5-lung axle and make sure that is centered on step number 25 now. So we are getting there, and we are going to put a 3-lung axle in the middle, and then one of these half lift arms goes on there like that, and another one on the other side with 2 blue connectors, one going in, oh, you need to go this way, one like that, and one like that. This connects into our yellow frame, slotting it into place. Oh yeah. 5-lung axle with an 8-tooth gear in the center, surrounded by 2 gray bushings on either side. Great. Oh yeah. Butterfingers today. Gray bushing there. And a gray bushing here. This slots into our A-frame in that position. And on the side, we're going to put this bracket, which is going to come like that. Now we are going to take a 5-lung axle with stopper and our worm gear. This is a bit tricky. I'll try and make sure you guys can see. The worm gear is going to slot in on top of that 8-tooth gear, and the axle goes all the way through. So now that arm is held in place. And on the other side of it, we're going to get another one of those knobbly gears like that. So now I can adjust my worm gear and lift and lower, raise and lower that lift arm, covered up with another frame piece here, just like so. And let me guess, we're going to have the other bracket. No, not yet. And we will place this into position. It's going to go down here, I believe. So now when I turn this, I can lift and lower that excavator piece. It's a bit rough because it's a bit loose right now, but we'll get there. Another 9-lung bracket. And onto that, we're going to use our frictionless connectors, 2 of them, and that's going to hold the other side into position like this. Okay, so I'm starting to think the wheels are going to go on here. Now let's just lower our lift arm out of the way. Even with the worm gear, because of those knobbly gears, the action is quite fast. The worm gear turns very quickly. You can see that here. And here's a good shot as well, while it's still exposed. Now, take a 5-lung axle. Take one of our axle brackets. Black connector in the center. And another axle bracket coming off of that. Here like so, and this is going to connect into here. Now it's time for the other lift arm, making sure it's matching the one on the other side. Lower and raise that lift arm. Nice. I don't know what these pieces are called. A fairing, that's right, it's called a fairing. So now we take our yellow fairing, and on each side of that we're going to place a 3-lung axle. Then we have a half bracket to go in on, now let's make sure I get this right. We don't want to make any mistakes. Goes like that. And this is going to connect in on this side, making the roof so our driver doesn't get too wet. Another half bracket goes on the other side to secure it in place. We're going to take 2 yellow half brackets, and these are going to go across here, securing the 2 frame pieces like that, and one goes on this side as well. And then we have 2 more we need, 3 long ones going on top. Oh, nice satisfying click sound there. Lovely. On the sides now, we're just going to connect some more fairings. These are going to connect this way. One there. And one here. And now to make some simple headlights. Blue connector goes, no blue connector, what am I talking about? Gray connector with stud in the bottom. Put a light on top. Gray connector with stud. And we cover that up with a light. They're going to connect to our main assembly, 1 on each side, so we can see while we are working. I'm going to take a 5 long beam, a black connector in, and we need to make 2 of them, 1 and 2. Now these are going to be the feet that they put down, stop it moving when it's working. And they're going to connect in on the back here, 1 there and 1 there. When the excavator is working, these will go down and lift the wheels off the back so it cannot move, holding it in position. And when it needs to drive, they will lift back up. Now we're really getting there now into the final quarter of this build. We're going to take our angled bracket. Blue connector goes in, 1 on either side, pointing in the opposite direction. And then our ball for our ball and socket joint, and that's going to connect in here like that. This is a bit tricky. We're going to put on the other side here. Now on top of that, we're going to take an angled connector. Going to slot in here and then go on the top like that. So now we have that backhoe. Very simple backhoe, not very technical, just some simple pivot points, no mechanism to speak of. The whole thing is going to connect into the socket here. So we have the ball and socket joint. So that gives it some nice freedom of movement. Now that I look at it, I think I've put the backhoe on the wrong way. Actually, what I've done is I've put the ball and socket joint on the wrong way. Now this connects here, and so then that looks more correct. Yes, so now we can scoop up some Lego pieces or dig into the dirt. On the front, we take our 2-pin to clicky-clacky thing connector. I have no idea what that's called. And we're gonna put that on here, but it's definitely going to lift. It's gonna connect to the main scoop. So we can lift that up, and that means we can ratchet it into some different positions up and down. All we need to do is add our 4 wheels. Clicking the wheels into position like so. I like to put the tire down and then push the wheel into place. And our last one, those 4 wheels slot onto the frictionless pins, so they have a lot of freedom of movement. 3, 4, and there you have it. Our loader is ready to go. There we go. What do you guys think? There we have it, guys, for Lego set 42197. Not really a lot to it. Very simple lever mechanisms on the back for activating the Backhoe. I do like how fast the worm gear motion works using those knobbly 4-prong gears. Little ratchet system on the excavator there as well, on the front loader, I suppose. You can also, while you're working, lower those feet so it's not able to move anywhere. I think it took me about 15 minutes to build, so a fairly simple build. Great for the kids, quick, easy, and some playability functions there, and it looks great. Teacher Paul out.